Hello students, we are going to discuss about the second part of the heap tree topic. In this discussion we will start with the heap implementation. So how we can represent the heap tree. All the data structures we have discussed so far, we had seen the linked list implementation for all of them. But for this heap tree, we are going to discuss the array implementation. Though this also can be represented using a linked list, an array representation is more preferred because of the characteristic of the heap tree. So, unlike the other binary trees, a heap tree is also a complete or nearly complete binary tree. As a result of this, array is a simple and efficient way to represent a heap tree. Whereas if you try to represent the AVL tree, for example, through an array, it may have plenty of empty spaces because it's not guaranteed to be complete. But a heap tree is by nature is nearly complete. As a result, it has a easier way to represent using an array. We will see the example and to understand how array is better to represent heap tree. And the next question is that how do we know the index of the, because in a linked list it's easier to associate the child with the or children with the parent. It's a pointer. So if you take the left pointer, we go to the left child. If you take the right pointer, we can go to the right child. But here an array don't have such a connection. So it's just a collection of indexes. So we have to make a logical connection with the parent, between the parent and the children. When there is no physical connection through pointers, we have to formulate some kind of logical association to integrate the parent and the children. That that formulation is just with the help of these two formulas. 2i plus 1. So whenever the parent is stored at the index I, its left child will be stored at 2i plus 1 index and the right child will be stored at 2i plus 2 index. So in this way, if you know the parent index, we can easily predict where its left child would have been stored and where its right child would have been stored. 2i plus 1 contains the left child, 2i plus 2 contains the right child. So so this is the way we are going to represent the heap tree for the parent and the children. So at every level, if the parent is at I, then its left child is at 2i plus 1, right child is at 2i plus 2. And as a consequence, you can also identify the or find out the address of its parent. Given the index of a left child or right child, its parent must be found at I minus 1 divided by 2 index. Similarly, given the index for a left child, its right sibling, if at all if it is there, is found at j plus 1. Similarly, given the index for the right child k, its left sibling must be found at k minus 1. So in this way we can connect the indexes with the siblings as well as the parent. And given the size of n of a complete heap, the location of the first leaf is at n by 2, and given the size of n of a complete heap, the location of the last leaf element is 1 less than n. Now with this the formulas and the calculations, let us look at the real implementation to understand this better. So this is a heap tree. Let us first check whether it's indeed a heap tree. So we know that the heap tree has to satisfy two conditions. Number one, at any node, that the root has to be or the parent has to be greater than the children, and this particular tree satisfies that condition 44, which is both greater than 33 and 13. Similarly, 33 is also greater than 21 and 28. So the first condition one is satisfied. Second condition is it must be complete or nearly complete, and this tree is also satisfying that particular condition. So this is a nearly complete binary tree. So it is now can be treated as a heap tree. And when you want to represent this heap tree through an array, this is how it is done. So 0, index 0 contains 44, index 1 contains its left child, and index 2 contains its right child. So in this way, we just have to follow that particular formula: 2i plus 1, 2i plus 2. To make it better, I have just made use of constructed this tree. So if this is an index, if the root is at index 0, which means its left child is at 2i plus 1, which is nothing but 2 into 0 plus 1, which means index 1. So index 1 contains the left child. Similarly, 2i plus 2 means I is 0. So 0 plus 2, which is 2, contains right child. So in the same way, when you come to this node, its left child is found at 2i plus 1, which is 2 into 1, 2 plus 1, 3. So index 3 contains the left child of 33. Similarly, we can identify the addresses of the left child and right child for every node. See, and one more thing is that if you calculate the address of a left child for a particular node and you don't find any value in that particular index, then it does not have a left child. Similarly, if you calculate the address of the right child as 2i plus 2 and no value is stored in that index, that means that it does not have a right child. So if a node have neither the left child nor the right child, then we recognize that it is a leaf node. So this is how we are going to deal with the heap tree. So this representation in the tree form is just for human purpose. Only for our understanding or readability, we draw this tree like this. But for the computer, this is just what a heap tree. So it is just stored here like this, and using that formula of 2i plus 1, 2i plus 2, we can implement any algorithm that works on heap tree. Hope you have understood this. Now let us move on to building a heap tree. So given a filled array of elements in random order, to build a heap we need to rearrange the data. So we know that random values may not satisfy the heap characteristic. So we have to rearrange them appropriately so that the root becomes larger than the children. And this process can be demonstrated like this. For example, we are taking this example: insert 8, 19, 23, 32, 45, 40, 56 and 78 into a heap tree. So step by step, this is how it will progress. So first 8 is inserted. We don't need to do any comparison because it is the first node. After that, we want to insert 19. So any insert happens at the first empty position. So 19 is inserted as the left child of 8. But it violates the heap property. So we have to reheap up. We know the algorithm already, it was discussed in the previous video lecture. So we apply the reheap up algorithm. So the values are swapped. Now we insert the next node, which is 23. Once again the heap property is lost. It requires one more reheap up algorithm. So now the tree is once again heapified. Then we go on to insert 32. It requires once again. So first step, it is exchanged with the parent, and it continues till it settles in its actual position. So 32 has reached the root. Same way 45 is inserted. You know what will happen? 45 gets gradually it is moved up to till it reach the root. So 56, that is also properly positioned, and finally 78, so that is also taken care. So finally we have constructed a heap tree by following the reheap up algorithm. If you demonstrate that using the array, this is how it will be done. So you know that the index values indicate the left child and right child. 2i plus 1 is supposed to have the left child, and 2i plus 2 is supposed to have the right child. So this particular demonstration through the tree can also be demonstrated using an array like this. They both mean the same thing. So that is what is explained here. So this process is called heapify. So every time you insert a new node and then we make all the reheap up exchanges, finally it reach the correct position. That whole process is called heapify. And this is an algorithm. So we start with the walker is assigned to 1, and we just make a call to reheap up. So we keep calling the reheap up, and finally the value will reach the correct position. And the next is about inserting a node. The previous was about constructing a new heap, but here it is about inserting a new node into a heap. First requirement is there should be space in the array, because now we have confined our implementation to an array, not to a linked list. So there is this issue of empty space. There should be space left in the array. If it is there, then we can proceed to the insert. To insert a node, we need to locate the first empty leaf in the array, and then we have to put the value into that particular location, and then we make a call to the reheap up algorithm, which will take care of the realignment of the heap tree so that it gets back the heap quality. So this is the algorithm behind it. So we increment the last and move data to the last node, so that the last leaf node is inserted with the new value. After that, it's just a matter of making a call to the reheap up algorithm. So in this way, we can insert a single value into a heap tree. Similarly, we have the logic for deleting a node. So when we deleting a node from a heap, the most common and meaningful logic is deleting the root value. One useful application for the delete node operation is that, given that you have a heap tree and you need to print the values in ascending order or descending order, then you can use the delete operation. So what you do is that you delete the root value and display it on the screen. Then you call the reheap down heap down algorithm, which will bring the next second largest value into the root. You delete that again and print it. So if you continue this process, the entire heap tree will be destroyed, and meanwhile you would have printed all the values in the descending order. If you want to print them in ascending order, you can simply store it in an array and then print it in reverse order. So this is very much useful for certain applications where you need to generate the ordered numbers out of a heap tree. So we have already seen the usage of the reheap down algorithm, that is useful when you delete a node. And this is the delete heap algorithm. It just makes a call to the reheap down algorithm. Now the next requirement is that suddenly I want to display the kth largest element in an unsorted list. So we have a heap tree. We want to print the kth largest element. There are two options. One is, without the heap tree, if you want to achieve this, then we have to first sort the list using some sorting algorithm and then print the kth largest element. Second is, you just construct a heap tree of this list of numbers and keep deleting the root values from the heap until you delete the k-1 element, and finally when you delete the kth element, you can display that as the result. So this is the same result achieved with the help of a heap tree. Another application of heap tree is implementation of priority queue. So you know what is a queue? A queue is a data structure which is of first in, first out. How priority queue differs from a conventional or normal queue is that, in a normal queue, the elements are progressing or moving in the queue simply based on their arrival time. So the one that entered the queue first makes the progress towards the front earlier ahead of the elements which are entered later. So it's just a matter of order, arrival time, based on that they are moving. But in a priority queue, this is not based on the arrival time, but based on some priority value. It's like when you go to a temple, if you are a VIP, you are likely to go ahead of other people. So this similarly in a queue based on which is called priority queue, every element is going to be assigned a priority. So based on the priority, they may overstep some other elements and go ahead of them. So the next, okay, now the issue is that how do we implement a priority queue? Heap is an excellent data structure for implementing the priority queue. Can you imagine how heap fits into this requirement that a priority queue where all the elements should carry different priorities, and depending upon the priorities they must be sent out of the queue. So at any point of time when I have an n number of elements, I must always choose the largest priority element to come out of the queue. It's actually very easier to relate a heap tree with the priority queue. You just think that priority value is nothing but the value represented by the heap tree. We have a heap tree always contains the largest value in the root. Now you relate that with the priority. So whenever an element is inserted into a heap, the priority value is used to represent it, or it is used to sort the element in in the heap tree. So the reheap up algorithm will work based on the priority value. So naturally the element with the highest priority will automatically pushed to the top, to the root. So all the next priority element will be in its left child, and the next priority element will be in the right child. So whenever a new element joins the heap tree, it always reach the correct position as per its priority. So implementation of priority queue is easily done with the help of a heap tree. So that is one more application of the heap tree. Now to summarize the topic, we have discussed three different binary trees. One is the binary search tree, whose characteristic is that the root has to be less than the left subtree. In fact, the root has to be greater than the left subtree and less than the right subtree. Similarly, we also have discussed about AVL search tree, and in an AVL search tree also the root has to be greater than the left subtree and should be less than the right subtree, and additionally it should also be balanced. And now we completed the discussion on heap tree, where the root has to be equally greater than both the left subtree and the right subtree. And for all the trees we have also discussed the insert and delete logic. So you have to be familiar with all these trees as well as their various operations. In the during the examinations you may be asked to either to construct a particular tree of any one of these, or you may have to perform insert or delete operation. And whenever you perform an insert or delete, you then have to adjust the tree again so that it becomes a binary search tree or AVL or heap tree again. Thank you.